Now then, people, good evening. Welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I've got everyone's favourite Irishman with us. It is, of course, Mr. Joe Lynch. We're going to be talking about the current situation at Leeds United, or lack of situation, because, of course, we're still waiting on there being some sort of white smoke. I even thought, we might got an official announcement on Josie for Gelhardt, but we haven't had anything official even on them yet, which I find mad because I think they wanted Gelhardt for tomorrow, which is the championship kicks off tomorrow. So, tonight even, but they play tomorrow. There is, of course, Rasmus Hjlund on the thumbnail as well, just because his name's been bandied about a few times. And he is available for loan. Man United haven't made him available to loan. I know that Rasmus Hjlund has refused moves away. There's nothing saying he wouldn't mind staying in the Premier League, though. Apparently, Manchester United want a fee of around about 6 million plus his full salary covered. And Joe was just telling me off air, it's around about 130, which might be out of our, price range anyway. But if we're struggling to get a deal over the line, this might be one to get, because I'm sort of resigned to the fact that we're going to lose out on Muniz, just because I don't think Fulham are going to sell. If I'm being totally honest, based on what we're reading. And obviously Atalanta have entered the race as well. But, a lot of people in the chat saying, oh my God, Rasmus Hjlund, terrible. But for Leeds United, no, not so. But let's see what let's see what Joe's got to say on it. We just spoke about it briefly.
I would take him. I don't think you could look at his Manchester United form and let that be the end story of what his career is, because of what he was like coming in. But it's not just him. Scott McTominay leaves Manchester United, wins Serie A, and is up for the Ballon d'Or this year.
Ballon d'Or, man. Ballon d'Or.
Jadon Sancho's had 2 moves away from them and been excellent. Anthony goes to Betis last year, has a cracking season down in Spain. And the one common denominator is they were very good before and they've been very good since. But they just, that spell in the middle of what is a crumbling club has really damaged them. And I think if anyone had said to you when he was at Atalanta, would you take Rasmus Hjlund, you would have absolutely bitten their hand off for him there and then. And what you could say is, well, he's had a year in the Premier League to get it out of his system and get used to the level, and now we can come back. And I actually thought he was decent against us in the pre-season friendly as well. So I think he's a very good player in there. He's still young, he's like 22 years of age, still a very young player, still a lot of learning to do and maturing to do. But I think if he moved away from them, I think he would be decent. What do you get Atalanta? 14 goals in his season there, first season of Manchester. I mean, still 16 goals. Manchester United, only 4 in the Premier League, but 16 goals in his first season in Manchester United. Not great last year, but 22 years of age, still has plenty of time to turn it around. But I would absolutely be in favour of it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, mate. AC Milan obviously are trying to get a deal over the line, but as already been said, he's already refused moves abroad, so it might be a case of he wants to stay in the country and feels that he can probably do it in England. So we'll have to wait and see. But look, it's just one that I'd put out there. Can Leeds United make it work? I think yes, even at 6 million for the year plus full salary covered. The fact that we, had money to put out on some players like a Paixão, for example, I think we can do it. But moving on from Højlund, this week we've seen... It's almost as if there isn't credible link out there, right?
I know, right?
Højlund and a Leeds badge on a thumbnail, it'll do well,
For the 5 minutes that you talked about it,
Yes, exactly. But this week, we've seen Buenanotte.
Yeah.
We've seen Bilal El Khanous. We've seen Muniz Atlanta. Joffrey going Joseph going Mallorca. What's your thoughts on this week, and how reliable do you think the Buenanotte, Bilal El Khanous? Because apparently there was, meetings last week, this week, and we're having more meetings than fucking, I don't know, a boardroom does,
The El Khanous one was interesting. I mean, we talked about it a couple of days ago when we were having a chat about it, and I just kind of said, and I put it on Twitter as well, there's just a bit of me doesn't think it happens. That Leeds, I think, had possibly already even moved on from him already, and there was initial conversations that probably hadn't, that came out to the press last week, but those conversations could have happened weeks ago. A lot of people have said that this deal is further along the line than it's been reported currently, and that could mean towards a conclusion of getting him or a conclusion of Leeds has moved on to another target. I think Leeds probably got a little bit spooked with Pajot and have decided to go shop and not let any information out of the club. We're back to that radio silence. I think he's a really good player. I wouldn't say no to El Canoes. I think he would give us something different. But the fact that some of the language around it, when Sasha Tavaleri put out that Crystal Palace might be having exits next week in the players, that to me suggests that the player is in favour of Crystal Palace move and is waiting to see what happens between now and then. Historically with Leeds, when they haven't got the vibe the player is interested, they've moved on straight away. So if the player's saying, well, I want to see what Crystal Palace do, I would imagine Leeds have gone, but that's fine, you're not coming to us, we'll move on with other targets and see here we go. I wasn't surprised to see Buonanotte pop up because I think there's similarities between him and El Canoes, not necessarily in the exact position they play in, but in how they play. And I think it was an obvious one to look at. I think, again, I said to you a couple of weeks ago, toss a coin between El Canoes and Buonanotte. There's a lot of similarities there. Again, a player I wouldn't mind having. But again, you kind of get the feeling that it's probably outside of Leeds. If Dortmund are sniffing around him and he wants Champions League football, then that's probably like the only what's the word I'm looking for here? Carrot on a stick for Leeds with this situation is that Brighton have said they would rather him go on loan to a Premier League club for his development than leave the Premier League.
Yeah.
And that maybe favours Leeds. But that, again, you could end up waiting until the very last day of the window for that one to get sorted out. And I don't think Leeds will. I think Leeds will want to start moving on because this is the solidity is there. The backline is pretty much sorted, bar the fullbacks, which I think they'll get sorted. Midfield is pretty much locked now at this stage. They know what they need for the bigger games. Me and you agree on this as well. I don't think an awful lot happens before Everton, but then I think it picks up gear pretty quickly before deadline day. Farkas said it himself as well. If you read into the language that he said, he doesn't expect the squad to be complete until the international break, which is deadline day. So at that point, I think it rumbles on a little bit, but I still believe they get what they need to get done. And again, I've said for a couple of weeks, I just wouldn't be shocked if somebody comes in the striking position and in the wing position that hasn't been mentioned or was mentioned right back at the very start of the transfer window.
Yeah, I think, people might disagree, but I'm sort of resigned to the fact that we don't get Muniz at this point. And then I start to scratch my head and go, well, if we're not getting Muniz, where the fuck's the striker? Genuinely, Jay, I don't know about you, you sift through the news on the daily. It was better at the start from Sky Sports. So I go, okay, that was credible. And there's been Muniz reported by all the reputable journalists. Outside of that, we've had Kristovic in Italy say over here say no. The Taremi thing is never moving. I can't believe
he does. I mean,
try to push that.
Think about it logically. I got asked by a guy in Premier Sports, "Do you think Taremi will happen?" And I said to him, "I don't know where this has even come from as being credible because Leeds have said, and again, if you follow the logic, and I think the 49ers model is fairly logical. I think there is a pattern to what they do." And I think if you follow that, they want players coming into their prime. So far this summer, they've bought players 26, 27. That's coming into your prime. They want them from the top 5 leagues in Europe. That's where the bulk of the players have come from. Teams that have played in the top 5 leagues in Europe. He doesn't fit any of those, but he's coming from top 5 league. Yeah, but he's for sale. He's not coming into his prime years. He's 33 years of age, single-digit goals in Serie A last season. It just doesn't make any logical sense that he would be a player Leeds go for. The Kristovic one, I like him. I would like him at Leeds, but it went very quiet when AS Roma started sniffing around him and he was pushing for a move to Roma. Then they go and sign Evan Ferguson, who has similar characteristics and traits to Kristovic. And then all of a sudden this week again, it's Kristovic could happen to Leeds. And it's like, okay, it feels like you're trying to drum up noise around him because it went quiet and you didn't get the move he was looking for. But I still don't think he's necessarily looking for a move to England. I still think he wants to stay in Serie A. So you could probably bin that one off. Beto could be the one that comes in towards the end. Maybe. But I still think there's somebody else. And there's lots of players. Look, I mean, most people hadn't heard of Diarra, Siddiqui, Pajot, the ones we missed out on. Most people didn't hear of them before they came in. So again, logic would dictate there's plenty more players out there that we haven't maybe necessarily noticed just yet that are doing business in their own league. So, I mean, Lockie has a list the length of his arm of players that could potentially come in and do a job for Leeds. So
he's getting a good job. You know, he sent me a voice note last night. Said I'm getting annoyed. He said there's loads of players.
Loads. But it's whether one, Leeds want them. 2, the selling club want to sell him, or at least I suppose the language should be want to sell him at this exact moment in time, because it could be a time dependent thing. And then the part is, does the money add up and does it make sense? And I know people will say just give him the money and get the player, But if you want to bring in a really good 9 and a really good 10 or left winger, giving one of them the money for the player might rule out getting the second one straight away. So you do have to penny pinch a little bit to maybe try and get all the pieces. But the longer the window goes on, you risk losing out on targets and then having to really panic and bring in the options that are way down your list. And Leeds again said early in transfer window, I think Robbie Evans said it, we can get a championship player whenever we want. We're trying to get better than that, which makes me think that if they were really stuck towards the end of the window and Gus Hamer was still falling around, they might default to that then at that point. But they would rather get someone of a higher level than that right now. They did also say that the bigger deals would come towards the end of the transfer window. Yeah. So that's again where we're kind of in that place. So again, if every time I start getting a little bit itchy about, are we going to do something and it's getting quiet, it's too quiet, we're not doing enough, I go back to those initial statements of going, okay, well, what's the blueprint here and what have they told us? That's what they've told us. Okay, there's still time and they expected this to happen. So it's all going where it was expected to go. So at least internally, there might not be any panic. Now, a lot of people have said to me, I'm as calm as a goose on top of the water, but under the water, my legs are going like nuts. And that's very true. So I'm saying this stuff, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, it would be nice to get a move on, lads.
100%. Yeah. I think that's the thing. I think if we actually... When was who was Stack the last signing?
Perry.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we forget about Perry because we've not seen him play, have we?
I've seen him yet, no, yeah.
Yeah, the last, I guess, credible was the Paixão thing, which is over it's almost 2 weeks, I think, now, since he got Here We Go at Marseille.
So 2 weeks ago, yeah.
I'm really, really surprised at how quiet it is. And look, the club will be doing their bits, but from a manager's perspective, I can imagine Farkas spitting feathers, man. And I'm really interested, Joe, to hear what you've got to say after the game tomorrow.
He will say stuff.
Oh, he will. We know he will, right? He does.
But everyone, I mean, I watched a couple of different podcasts and stuff over the last couple of weeks, and the clip that was picked up and thrown out on social media the most was them saying about, always a shot to the board. He wants this, and he wants this. It was like, nothing that was said in that interview was new news. Nothing was sensationalist journalism. None of it was breaking news. Daniel Farke demands. We know he wants a left winger. We know he wants a 10. We know he wants a 9. And we know he wants fullback cover. We've known that for weeks. There's nothing. The fact that he said it in an interview after the Villarreal game doesn't now make it like, oh, well, the manager's demanding stuff. To me, it's like, yeah, we know that's been there for a while. So we'll crack on, but he will make it known what he wants, and he will say, and he won't give anything away. He will say, we're busy, we're doing our bits, we're getting things lined up, we'll get them. Yeah. But again, I go back to the end of last season. If we were playing Everton at the end of last season, I still would have fancied our chances against them, and I still fancy our chances against them next week. I would love us to have all our work done, but that's never been the case. There's teams that haven't even started yet in the transfer window, and we're worrying about just getting the last few bits and pieces together. So I'm still relatively calm about it. I think they'll get what they want. And I think he's around long enough and he's in the game long enough, Joe, to know the bulk of these deals will get done the last 2 weeks. That's just the reality of the situation. Sky Sports haven't monetized deadline day because nobody does business on deadline day.
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Are you surprised at the rate at which we've, maybe this is wrong, but sort of tended to neglect the European market and focus solely? I think apart from obviously the Germans, and I guess Lucas Perry's obvious, but it almost, I don't know, this
wasn't the manager criticised for not having Pull and Power because he couldn't bring French players in, but now he's brought German players in because he knows them. Yeah. I'm just thinking we're looking at Buonanotte, we're looking at Bilal El Khanous, we're looking at players like Muniz that we will have competition for from Premier League clubs, which is going to make these deals so difficult to do. Would you rather Leeds were shopping in that market where they might win 1 or 2, they'll lose a couple, definitely. But again, look at Newcastle this summer. They have all the money in the world. They have Champions League football, and they can't get anybody in. They've lost their first choice goalkeeper to Man City. They've lost their striker, who they offered way more money to Manchester United, who are falling apart. They've missed out on some. Eteke goes to Liverpool. They lost 2 to Liverpool, so, and they have the money. So again, it's not the case of just giving them the money and bringing those players in. Teams miss out on players, and we've missed out on a few, but I would much rather Leeds were shopping in this pool of players to try and get players in that would be of a higher level than what every other team has done, which is pick up top-end championship players and hope that they come into their form at the right time, which historically they haven't.
So I'm going to put a name to you then. Ben Doak, because Ben Doak's been heavily linked in the last 24 hours. He's a player that did exceptional in the championship. I think we can both sit here and say, yeah, that kid's got talent. Yeah. And if we were looking to buy this guy 3 seasons into the Premier League, I'd be okay with it, Joe. Absolutely. But I just think it's a hell of a lot to put on a young lad's shoulders if he was to be our winger.
Marquee signing.
Well, he would be, though, wouldn't he? If he's coming in from Liverpool, he's leaving Liverpool because he wants to play. So I'm assuming he'd be starting. So then it's like, all right, okay. Well, what happens with the wingers that we've got? I don't know. So I do really like Doak. Please hear me. And I've seen a few people say it'd be great. But I don't think for right now, Joe. I don't think for right now.
Someone said on my channel, right player, wrong time.
Yeah, it's a good, yeah.
And I think another part of me was thinking, again, I keep saying the silence is making me go a little bit mad. I'm starting to delve into rabbit holes I probably shouldn't be going into, but I look at it and go, he's out of contract in 12 months' time. This very much feels like a Liverpool tax. Ryan Brewster is the one that always comes back to me of Sheffield United paid, 20-odd million for Ryan Brewster, and they've never gotten that money back in anything that he's done since he's gone there. Liverpool like to have this. Caoimhín Kelleher was quoted at 30 million, 40 million pounds in the start of the summer, went for 13 or 14. So Liverpool have this Liverpool tax they like to put on their young players. Max Fober shut down Ben Doak last year against Leeds United, and Max Fober was deemed not good enough for Leeds United this season, but yet he kept Ben Doak very, very quiet last year when we beat them 3-1. So is he what you're looking for as a difference maker? I think maybe Leeds could be lining it up for a free transfer in the summer. Maybe that's what they're looking at, bringing him in next year, because he can turn around to Liverpool in January and say, well, I've negotiated a pre-contract agreement with Dortmund. I'm off for free at the end of the year. It's 6 months. How Liverpool can dictate a £20 million price tag for a player that essentially can negotiate an exit for free in 6 months' time. They don't have the leverage to ask for £20 million. I think you take what you can get. I think if it ended up being like Leeds to sign Ben Doak for £5 million, it was like, great, that's a Jack Harrison replacement. Jack can go. Yeah. And then we bring in another player. So I don't think he's necessarily the only one. Again, I read into the language that Baron Cross is a very good writer, and he's very deliberate in the language that he writes. And he said Leeds had discussed internally Ben Doak as an option. It's like, that's an internal discussion. That's not a move. That's not Leeds. They may have approached Liverpool like they have a lot of players and went, what's the availability? What's the fee? There you go. We'll come back to you. And they might not have gone back. But I mean, if Ben Doak was one of a lot of players to come in that attacking area, and we still brought in a first choice left winger and we brought in a first choice 10, no problem at all. I think he's going to be a fantastic footballer. He's got a bit of an injury record for a young player, but you get Steven Gerrard had that as well at his age. So that goes away. He will be a really, really good player. But is he what Leeds need right now? And do Leeds have time to work on potential rather than proven talent? And again, going back to what Leeds have said this summer, players coming into their prime. He's not coming into his prime. He's years away from his prime. And I've played the top 5 leagues in Europe. Yes, he's with Liverpool, but he was at loan at Middlesbrough last year.
Exactly, yeah.
And our wingers outperformed him in G&A last year. So does he come in and dictate a starting position against them who have outperformed him in the same league? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree with you. What have you made to the exits that are about to happen? Obviously, Joffy, he's going to go out on loan. I don't know how long Joffy's actually got on a deal, actually.
2 years.
2 years still. So then he enters his final, doesn't he? So Joffy goes on loan. And also Joseph's gone to Mallorca. What do you make to them 2 deals? How does that work? Future for Leeds United with them 2 players?
I love Joffy. I've always loved Joffy. I think he's a hard-working young lad. He's never caused any problems when he's not been in and around the squad. He's knuckled down and just got on with his business.
He could have.
He could have. Yeah, because he was, he looked okay in the Premier League the last time we were there, and he made an impact for us in the Premier League the last time we were there. He could have very easily said, well, I've done it at that level. I deserve more of a chance. He didn't. He just got on with stuff, did his job, did it the right way, had a very good loan at Hull last year. I'm surprised Ruben Celis hasn't come for him since his move. But if he goes back to Hull, apparently they're open to a permanent move. They can't make it permanent right now because of the transfer embargo, that the restrictions, they have on them. If they win that appeal, maybe there's an option in there to make it permanent at the end of the season. And then Leeds get something back, at least book value for him when he moves on. But I hope Joffy goes off and smashes it and has a great career. I think he's a great kid. He's had a really good family, good kid, done things the right way. Matteo Less so in terms of doing things the right way, but I'm delighted he hasn't gone to Real Betis. I'm really happy about the fact that we've managed to at least do it our way and insist it's a clean, pure loan, no option, no obligation. Leeds have got that. If he goes and smashes it, it's 3 years left on his deal. Leeds have an estimated value that goes up. Or if he comes back, if he proves that he can do it and gets loads of games and comes back to Leeds as a better striker, happy days. I would take him back, no problem. I think he's going to be a very good striker. He needs to play. There's no point in sitting in the bench for Leeds and sulking because that's what he's been doing. May as well go out and play football. Maybe he matures a little bit back in Spain and comes back. Maybe he decides that the advice he's been getting from agents and other people wasn't right, wasn't the way to do things, because it definitely wasn't. He'd have got this move regardless of what he's done here. He could have turned up, done things the right way, and still got this loan. We all knew it. They brought in Meche. They had Peru. They were going to bring in another number 9 anyway. So it was very clear Mateo Joseph was likely to go out on loan anyway. No point in throwing your ties at a pram. He's done it the wrong way, but he's gone now. We'll keep an eye on him for the next 12 months and see how he gets on. See if he can make the step up, if he can back himself to be the first choice striker, because their top scorer last year had 7 goals.
Yeah.
So he's going to play.
I did see, apparently, I think it was Tom Wilson. I don't know about La Liga, but he did say they play quite a defensive style and it's a poor move for him. So that's not great. But I think he just wanted gone, didn't he? He wanted to be in La Liga. I think that's where Joseph was at. Just to finish up, obviously the big one tomorrow, we play AC Milan in Dublin. Obviously, you'll be there. There's going to be more fans there than there will be at Ellen Road. What seater is it? Is it 55?
There's expected to be 50,000 people at the game tomorrow.
Wow, which is insane in itself. How are you feeling about that? Do you think as well, lineup-wise, this will be the closest we will get to our starting lineup against Everton in a week's time?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think this is it now. Yeah, they'll have training games all week now to work on their shape, but I would imagine this is as close to your competitive starting 11. Yeah. The question marks will be on the goalkeeper. Has he got over the little injury? Will he play? That's a question mark. I could very easily see Carl Tharlow starting the season against Everton.
I'm interested to find out what's going on with Bogle as well.
Yeah, it's a tie problem, isn't it? They said a tie issue.
Yeah, I've seen
it wasn't as bad as they first thought.
Crazy stuff online that he's out till Christmas at one point. It was like, I don't know.
I think they'd be getting a move on there. Yeah. Isaac Schmidt's never let us down when he's played, but he only played 71 minutes last season. I think we saw enough last week to understand why he's not playing every single week. He gets dragged inside far too easily. He loses his shape. He gets caught in possession. There's a lot of stuff there. So Leeds need better there. Need better in that position. There's been lots of names thrown out that don't look credible. So again, likely to see somebody come in there that we haven't heard of yet. But it'd be interesting to see how serious that injury is. But we'll get that from Farke probably after the game. I would be shocked if Bogle does play in that game. I'd say it'd be Schmidt again on the right hand side while he's still here. But I think after that, you
Byram there. Leave Byram.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah, well, at least you get the defensive part of it. You won't get the attacking threat from Sam, but you at least look. He's consistent as a defender. He didn't let us down last year when he played defensively, but you just don't get that attacking output from him. But he does have more height, attacking threat from corners as well, and defensive ability from corners. But you want somebody Premier League level in there for that game.
Yeah,
so, I think it's close. We're going to get. I can't wait. I'm really excited about it. Dublin's full of Leeds fans right now. I've had the lads in the Camden been on to me. And by 4:00 this afternoon, there's around 250 Leeds fans in the Camden already.
Wow.
Now there's a huge giant, I just put it on Twitter, huge banner outside hanging from outside the front of the Camden in Dublin city centre with the Leeds badge, the Newell's Boys badge on it. Yeah. So they're taking over. Absolutely taking over. You know, it's an Irish saying of we're not here to take part, we're here to take over. But I think Leeds have come into Dublin this weekend and we're taking over. So it's going to be huge. I can't wait. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, I bet you are, mate. I bet you are. I know there's many Irish fans that are as well. I've seen a lot of posts over social media. I hope Milan do bring a strong side because obviously they play Chelsea on Sunday as well, which is a little bit disappointing. But there
was someone said that they've done this already this summer. They played 2 games back to back, and they basically played a 45 and a 45, 2 teams, and then the following day they played 45 and 45 again. So they got 90 minutes each in 2 days. But they didn't play any more than 45 minutes. So we might see that kind of stuff, in which case you get a decent side. I can't see AC Milan bringing a side to Dublin, which they're being incentivized to come to Ireland to do this game, and having 50,000 people in the stadium and then throwing their kids out.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, mate. It's a good point. Well, hopefully...
I could be wrong.
I hope you enjoy the game. And,
so do I.
And like I say, I'm interested to see what that lineup is more than anything, to be honest. And we'll see from there. But there's not really much for us to discuss. Is there anything you want to chat about? There's not really much to do, is there?
I'm just having a look at my stuff this morning. There's the Jack Harrison future stuff, but again, there's nothing much in that. And then everything else is just rumor at this point. So there's not a whole lot. And just to plug the Camden, by the way, if anyone is in Dublin tomorrow, I'm in the Camden from pretty early tomorrow morning. There's a Q&A in the Camden with, I believe it's Dominic Matteo and Noel Whelan that will be there that I've been asked to do. So I'll be doing the Q&A with the lads.
Are you hosting it? Are you hosting the Q&A?
Yeah, apparently.
Love that, mate. Love that for you.
I'm trying to get my questions ready for it, but we'll be a big crowd. I'm pretty nervous, and being honest with you, pretty shitty stuff.
Naturally,
a little bit. It's easy.
If you haven't got nerves, though, it's a bad thing. I think you need to have a little bit of nerves. You do.
Yeah, but there's stuff planned all morning in the Camden. There's a DJ lined up as well. There'll be old classic Leeds games and goals being shown on their big screen there as well. It's a huge place. It's a cracking place. Now it's not close to the Aviva, so if you're going to the Camden, make sure you make arrangements to get closer to the Aviva, closer to kickoff. There's pubs like Slattery's and that are closer to the Aviva. There's a couple of crawls happening already, but follow the crowd. You'll find it easily enough.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Little boy ran in there. We're not much on, so I just had to quickly dip out. But yeah, listen, folks, we'll leave it there. There's not much for us to chat on, really. Højlund's available for a loan. There you go. Happy days. Smash a like on a video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in. Go check out Jer at Leeds United, The View, and I'll see you tomorrow for the watch along if there's no news to report on in the morning. All right, peeps? Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Oh, hang on, we've got a super chat. You guys have any theories on why it didn't work for Joffrey at Leeds? Farke not liking him, chaos of relegation. To be honest, I don't think it's fair to say Farke because he's had that many managers. I don't think I think certain players, when you can't tell them what their position is, it actually is a detriment to them. Like, let's say, for example, this might sound wild, right? But I also think Wayne Rooney's versatility, this is wild, hampered him from being like up there with your Ronaldos and Messis because he was willing to go on the wing. He was willing to do the donkey work for those bigger, better players, which might sound mad. So I think because Joffrey can literally play, well, we still don't know. What can you tell me what his position is?
No, he's talked about right wing 10 and 9, and I think you're talking about that saying of jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah,
and being the utility player that you always stick him on the bench because, well, if I need a player in a position, I've got him. If I start him, I lose that. So I do think there's an element of maybe too many managers at the wrong point of his career. And too many people changing what he was trying to do and not developing. But I do think somebody needs to say you're a 9 or a 10 and that's it. Stick with it and work on it.
Let's say, for example, if Bielsa hadn't left, then he had the same manager all the way through, he might be totally different now, right?
It's a huge part of it. And then some managers will spend more time working with individuals, like developing them. Other managers will focus on the entire side and not so much on the individuals. And some players need that individual. I mean, look at Calvin. Calvin's talked about the attention he got from Bielsa was what he needed. And he hasn't gotten that since then, and he needs that. So some players need that hand on their back the whole time to direct them. There's definitely a player in Joffrey. I've no doubt there's a player in Joffrey. I still think he'll still be a Premier League player, you know. Genuinely think he will. It's just obviously, we'll have to wait and see. But listen, we will end it there. Thanks for the super chat, Reese, and I'll see you tomorrow, peep. Bye-bye.